effectiveness and become a change champion in your nation. To order for Multiply Your Success Lead, please call +44 020 888 76771 or visit our website www.successpower.tv. Multiply Your Success Lead by Sam Adeyemi, a life-transforming tool that you need to succeed.
Success Power.
Welcome back. This is Success Power. We're discussing the topic, managing your finances in crisis. Last week, we encouraged ourselves to develop the ability to prioritize. That the time of financial crisis is a time for us to separate our needs from our wants. And today, I want to go further to encourage that you need to cut down on your wants. Having made a separation between the things that are absolutely critical to your survival and to the survival of your family, the things that are critical to your survival into the future, whatever little resources you have should be directed to those things. You need to cut down on the wants, cut down on the luxuries. I'll say again, it is not a shameful thing to downsize. When your earning capacity is reduced, you must reduce your expenses also. So it's time to take a good look at what you spend the money on, and then to begin to take some items out. I have seen some people decide, well, this is a luxurious home and it's no longer convenient to sustain the payment of this mortgage, and they have chosen to sell off their homes and to rent smaller homes. Oh yes, it may be some smaller space, but you have peace of mind and you are getting a house that you can afford. Some people have done away with some of their luxury cars, or I mean sometimes we just have some of those cars that we get just to indulge ourselves, and some people have let go of them because they have loans that they took on them. Okay, so it's important for us now to cut down on our expenses, but I mean for the person who has experienced a reduction in their earning capacity. If you do not reduce your expenses, you will sink faster into debt. And I know there are people who, once the challenges come like that, their earning power reduces, what they begin to do is to max out on all the opportunities that they have to take loans. They max out on each of their credit cards, they refinance their homes, which means they're going to pay more on their loans monthly, but whereas their income has not increased. In fact, in some instances, it's reduced. I know sometimes we become desperate when we're in such a situation, and that's why sometimes, we take those loans because somebody's talked about some financial deal that looks so good. In fact, if that one deal comes through, then it's just going to wipe out all the debt and solve all our problems. Desperate people do desperate things. It's very interesting how people will have some financial challenges and then they will make some decisions that will completely wipe them out financially, out of desperation. In fact, some people become susceptible to fraudsters and to gamblers, okay, just because of the desperation of getting out of debt. Anyway, back to my line of thought, people take the maximum limit of loan that they can take from the bank, and then people begin to loan money from individuals, from their relations, from their friends, and so on. Why increase the amount of money that you owe when it's not that your income is increasing? I think the first thing to do is, like we said, take a good look at all the things you spend money on and just tell yourself, there are some of these things that I cannot sustain. For some of us, for example, it's buying Christmas gifts or birthday gifts or wedding gifts, and we are accustomed to buying exquisite and expensive gifts for people. We already have a reputation for doing that, and now we are ashamed that if we buy things that are cheaper and we give those gifts to people, people will know that we're really having serious financial difficulties, and they'll begin to look at us with sympathy and with pity, and we would lose some of the respect that people have for us. You know what? All those are sentiments. When you find yourself in a tough place, you have to make tough decisions. So rather than go buy some expensive gifts, you just need to be very creative and buy things that are functional for people. Or in fact, give people what you can make yourself. Okay? Bake the cake. Okay? Or fry the chicken or whatever it is. Or make the beads or the cards or the whatever. And just express love and care and affection. That's the key thing. But you don't have to try to impress people and then push yourself further down the hole of debt. When you find yourself in a hole, what you have to do is to stop digging. The more you dig, the more you sink into that hole. You've got to stop somewhere. You've got to be very decisive. Now, I mentioned something on our last broadcast, and it's the fact that crises do not only shape our character, they first reveal our character. If you have not been disciplined before the crisis came, don't think you are going to do anything extraordinary now that the crisis has come. You've got to be very, very disciplined. You must spend less than you earn. Now listen to me. Even in good times, you must spend less than you earn. Not to talk of when the times are rough. You must spend less than you earn, and that's why, when the income begins to go down, then you begin to cut things away that you don't need to spend money on. One of my mentors was a great blessing to me. He said to me one day, this is a very, very prosperous person now, very prosperous. But, I heard some of his stories and how he disciplined himself, went against people's expectations. In my part of the world, when you have a child, you have a naming ceremony, after a week, and you invite all your friends and your relations, and you invite a priest, a pastor who prays over the child, and then the child is named, and then you feed everybody who comes for the ceremony. And this mentor of mine had a baby, but did not have enough money to buy food to feed people at the naming ceremony. And he was heading a non-profit organization. He had his salary fixed, and at that particular point in time, he just didn't have any money of his own. And one of his associates said, you know what, you're the head of this organization. In fact, you founded it. Let's use some of the organization's money to conduct this naming ceremony. People shouldn't come and not find anything to eat. You know what he said? He said, this child is not the child of the organization. This child is my child. What I have is what I'll give people to eat. If it's only few biscuits or crackers that I can give them to eat, I'll give them crackers and give them water to drink with it. That's all. He said to me, I have been hard on myself, but it has paid me. Because that strong value, that strong discipline has paid him because he's made more